Guys, feedback.
I really like it.
It's something different, like the documentary.
I like how you said you're going to use animation. I think that's really unique. And you know, you said like Robert's going to be in the local school playground and you're going to have so many different cameras. Then you're going to put all that footage together.
Yeah.
How are you going to bring the piano to the playground?
I've started. I need to speak to. I think it's Mr. Duplis, the tall South African, and I'm going to speak to him about getting a piano put in the playground. Because I spoke to him earlier, way before, as soon as I heard we were doing a music video next year, I said, is it possible for us to move a piano about? Because he put one in the drama studio, and he said to me, you know, maybe. So I need to speak to him again. But even if we can't get a real, I prefer to get a real piano, but if we can't, then we'll find something to make do. Once again, you can use anything. There could be a gimmick, although I don't necessarily like this, and I just thought of it right now. You want to grab your audience's attention, so off the top of my head, if Robert knows his keys off by heart, if I was to put a chair out on the playground, put speakers around the audience, and then he mimes to it, that would immediately get a lot of attention.
You have to be careful with just having him in the playground, like don't have too much of it, otherwise it might be, not boring, but might just like make people lose focus of it a bit.
Which is why we'll try to pull away from obviously him just on the piano to people's reactions, and then to him, what he does in his everyday life, talking to people and whatnot.
And are you just going to use Robert on his own? Because I remember it wasn't no badness from his part, but where he was doing his GCSEs last time, we were going to use him, but he didn't have enough time.
He didn't have enough time
so we
to
needed
film it.
And now he's doing his ASs, and he's going to have the time to help.
I'll try my best to get Robert on his own, whether that's me, if I just say to him, do what you do at lunch, and then I record him, and then I can ask him, because I'd only need one lunchtime with multiple cameras set up, and then I'd record that, and then obviously once we do a rough cut, if I then need to go back and refilm, I've learned from my mistakes, so I'll make sure to film this straight away, and then obviously if there's anything else I can then build a schedule around him, but no, that's been noted by us that he's a...
The audience, like the fans in the playground, are all going to be in their school uniform. Is that an issue?
Yeah, no, that's something that we'd like, because not just, there'll also be members of staff there. I know we want everybody like someone who, everyone likes the guy who's nice to kids. Nobody ever likes someone who isn't polite to children. If we see him, like the kids aren't exactly like 5 years old, but they're still young, and then there's ones who are our age.
Does that help you relate to the lower audience as well?
Yeah, because we want to appeal to everyone, but obviously our primary audience is female, so I am putting out a message to the sixth formers to come down, so it should hopefully be a nice mix, or if I could, perhaps after school, but I think that's a bigger risk. I like the idea of it being a break time where we can see the kids playing in the background. It makes it feel real, which is what we want to advertise him as. He's a real guy.
I like the idea of him and the piano. I thought it kind of reminded me of like Elton John, but like a younger version. I think that would work out quite well.
I like the way you linked him with Adele as well, because she does a lot of just performance in her videos. She doesn't really have flashy videos.
And you can relate to it as well because he wrote it.
Yeah.
And the sort of music's not, well, it's kind of similar in a way.
I know what you mean, is in like the way they like I said, they want to portray as average people. Yeah.
You know, you showed the Adele video, like you said you really liked the opening sequence of her in her house just talking about the song. Are you going to do the same?
What I was considering is that there's two ways we're going to go. A, we're either going to show people him setting up, and we'll record him, and then we'll have people's reactions of like, oh, what's going on and whatnot. The other one I like is that I don't know if you noticed, if you listen to the lyrics, it's obviously about a girl who's got problems, but it's called C-Kelp and cigarettes, and C-Kelp is something that is it's a diet pill that girls use, which I don't think it's supposed to. Robert was explaining to me, I don't think it's supposed to be used as a dieting pill, but whatever it is, it's really bad for women to help them lose weight. So what I might do is, much like I don't want to like keep on referring back to the past, but do you remember at the beginning of Queen Khan, I had a blank card with some writing on there, and it was a quote from Muhammad Ali. I might do the same of a blank card with explaining what C-Kelp is and how dangerous they are, and then explaining what cigarettes are, and go into it. Whatever I want something, some sort of prelude before the song begins to show how Robert is, whether that's him talking about how there's girls out there who obviously they're taking C-Kelp and it's not good for them. I want him to show him that he's a real guy, but I definitely want to do something with C-Kelp.
I think the idea of him talking about what the video's about is quite original. I like that idea.
Because
otherwise that'll work a lot better.
You'd want it to be too long though, because it would be more of a documentary sort of type, not a music video.
Robert's actually, I can say, I hope I can say, is going to re-record the song anyway, because I said that I wasn't sure if the sound quality was good enough, so hopefully he said he's going to try and re-record it. If not, I'm sure we can trim down the song, but the opening wouldn't be long at all. I don't imagine it going anywhere over 30 seconds.
I think you should just have it with him talking
and
instead of the card.
Yeah, just have him talking as he sets up.
Otherwise you've got to read that and then watch a maybe it'd be better if he talks, because it also feel like he's talking to you.
Do you feel it takes you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So in that case, then we'll go over it. Can I just ask, what did you think of the animation? Would you prefer if there was animation on it so it didn't bore you with documentariness and it related to the cover, or should I just keep?
I think it doesn't go as well with the song.
So
it's quite realistic, and then you have cartoons.
So keep it documentary style, but obviously I can still put it on the cover.
I think animation's more of a
gimmick.
Happy song, but you could do it so it goes well.
No, but it's taken into account what you said, so I think we'll take the animation doesn't need to be there.
It's not inside, but like, how are you going to use a HD and then have like shaky pans and stuff and have it realistic?
What I wanted to do is I wanted to set up, say around 3, I'll call them alpha cameras, which we'll set up, and those will be, actually we'll call them master cameras, that's easier. They're the top dogs out of the cameras, and they'll be recording it so it looks really professional. Then what I want to have is the smaller cameras, what we're recording with now, the flip cams, and then we'll use those for the more documentary-ish feel. And then I'd like to have people's mobiles, and then we can mix it together and see whatever we come out with, get a healthy balance.
Okay. First question, will the song have any more production on it when you record it, or is it just going to be him with his piano?
Just him on his piano. We want to keep it as real. He's the boy of the piano, we don't want to...
Okay. I would say in terms of the animation, the idea, the animation certainly in the background of Napoleon Dynamite, that's kind of geek chic style, it's tongue-in-cheek, and I think the same with 500 Days of Summer. I personally would shy some distance away from using. I don't think that goes along with the kind of branding that you're. I think animation and sort of computer graphics is quite jarring with genuine boy with a piano style stuff. I think more kind of moody lights, maybe.
So would you say change the cover then to?
I'd definitely say change the colour.
In that case, then I think what we'd rather do then is just get a shot of him in some sort of urban environment on the piano on his own then. And then leave it at that, and then that would be the image shown for
maybe somewhere like in a forest or something, somewhere like where people can relate to.
See, I would say like in London, like I see him as quite a London boy.
Yeah.
Or like down Brick Lane or something.
The voice is very London.
Yeah. And I could just imagine him like on a piano, and the picture of him like on the street.
In an actual London location.
Like a bus guy who's made it, and then you just see him.
I'm sure we can sort something out to get him on the street with the piano.
The other thing I think this is a couple of other things, and I think this is a real issue. I don't know that using a school playground would hit the vast majority of the audience which you identified.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at the Adele thing, the camera movement that they were using in there is all very deliberate, it's very slow, it doesn't go for that handheld thing. Yeah. I think within what you've got, there's like, say you've got that much ideas, I think we need to take that much ideas, we need to filter down, and then we need to get to what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we need to build a little bit more in there, because I think, as Anna kind of said, I think 4 minutes of a guy playing a piano
in a
public area is going to be really jarring, especially when you have such a strong basis for a narrative within a video. When what you were talking about, the seek help pills or whatever they are, that almost writes itself as a video that has a performance bit in it, but then B, a section about a narrative about a girl who's suffering from an eating disorder. To me, that seems very, very logical. I think in terms of the actual video, I like the performance element, I like the idea of him with a piano. As I said, I don't think the schoolyard setting maybe works.
So I could change it once again to suit what the album cover showed.
I think a narrative in it would actually work really well.
I think you could still use the idea of the piano in a location, and then people coming and seeing them. Maybe not in a school in London again or something like that. You know.
What would you say to him being on Brick Lane and then promote that as something almost as if like bigging up awareness for Seek Help? And then
I would say in terms of actually getting that done, that would be a monumental challenge, because most of those areas like Brick Lane are locked down by people producing stuff, months and months in advance.
Yeah.
If you were going to do something small scale, then you could probably get away with it, the same as kind of what Moan did in that video. However, if you're setting up a piano with with like tracks and a few different things, your chances of doing that without getting into trouble are zero. So you really do need to think about the logistics of shooting this. I think the idea of shooting with the cameras, again, maybe isn't quite... I think the idea of shooting with the cameras, with the phone cameras, is quite jarring as well. I might go handheld to get some people's reaction shots.
But don't actually use the mobile phone footage.
Yeah, but then again, I might not actually say that you need to use those reaction shots. I think maybe if you have him in a public place, I think maybe... I don't know where you could film that stuff, but it would need to be in keeping again with this idea. So the key things going forward are you need to kind of figure out exactly a very clear brand. I think Rob kind of brands himself, but don't bring in anything else into that. So stick to that kind of... And I think the idea of Rob as an everyman, I actually find that maybe is a little bit jarring. I think in terms of what people are like, in terms of, you know, your average teenager, I think Rob is quite eccentric. He chooses to dress differently. He chooses to portray himself in a different way. And I think the everyman thing is maybe, again, heading in a slightly wrong direction. I think maybe look at people like Ed Harcourt and a few other more eccentric style musicians and see how they brand themselves doing something a little bit different. Maybe, you know, somebody like Kate Nash, sort of a feminine, like a more male version of Kate Nash. So how, or Florence and the Machine, how she brands herself differently, or Mumford and Son, how they brand themselves differently, but yet still manage to hit that huge audience. So key things: think about your branding, try and make it cohesive. Try to put a narrative into this as well, and think about the location of where you want to film and how possible is that logistically. I think you've got a good song, I think you've got a good artist, I think you've got some good ideas, but there's too much breadth there at the moment, and it needs to be sort of...
Cut the fat.
It needs to be sort of closed down a little bit. Anybody else? Alright, cool.